Welcome. How do you go from a handful of clients in your coaching business to create a very successful 6 and 7 figure business? That's what we're talking about today. So I'm going to walk you through how to do it because there's a lot of people in our group. There's a lot of people following us who have started, right? They're not just thinking about being a coach anymore. They're actually actively coaching. Maybe they only have 1 or 2 clients. Maybe it's just word of mouth, the referral based, but they've got this big vision of creating a business that supports their family, that gets them out of their 9 to 5, allows them to go full time, pursue their dreams or passions, creates financial freedom and time freedom and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to show you really what this looks like, kind of walk you through this journey so that you can wrap your head around it, you can embrace it, you can start implementing it and doing it in your business. So as you jump on, say hi. We are live in the group. My favorite, the best community for us guys is in the group. So if you're not in the group, you need to be in the group. If you're not watching this on in a Facebook group, then comment group and we'll reply back and give you the link to the group. But we're also on a few other places tonight. So I would love to hear from you as you're jumping on that where you're located and what you're actually watching on. If you're on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, any of our other awesome platforms where we have some really cool folks hanging out. So jump on out and we will dive in. We do have some gifts for you tonight as well. We haven't heard, this will be new for a lot of folks who are watching today. This is a Trello board that actually walks you through 7 days of steps to actually get to high ticket clients. So if you need help on how to bring in more leads, you need help with how to bring in more clients, this is what it's all about. Okay. So that's what it's going to walk you through. All right. Very, very helpful. You can drag and drop, move your stuff around. You're going to love it. So if you don't have access to that, just type in Trello in the comments and myself, my team, probably Matt, he's an awesome team member of ours, will jump in here and help you get access to that for free. So free access to the Trello board, walk you through how to get high ticket paying clients online in just 7 days. So dive into that. And at any time tonight, if you're curious, if you're struggling, if you're not wanting to try to figure this out anymore on your own, we're here for you. Just comment info. We'll chat, see how we can help you out with this. So again, let me know if you're live, if you're on the replay, where you're watching from tonight. So let's start at the beginning. For most people, not 100%, and we have clients that don't do this. So if you hear this and you're like, wait, they told me I could. Yes, you can. I'm going to talk about general stuff. And then obviously your specific coach will help you pick apart the details of your situation. I can't give that level of detail in this kind of setting. That just doesn't work that way. We got to get into the nitty gritty of your situation to fine tune it. But we're going to talk generally. How do you go from just getting started to having a very successful high 6-7 figure business? All right. Most people getting started will probably start with one-on-one coaching. And potentially in more of an informal setting where, yes, people are paying, which is wonderful, right? But there's not like it's not super structured. Like it's not like 8 weeks and this is the agenda for each of the weeks. And here's all the things that we go through, all of that stuff. It's usually more kind of like you have a general plan that you're going to work through, maybe general pillars that you use, but you're working with them ongoing as long as they need. That's often how people get started. And that's a great place to get started. Is this where you should start? Well, this works really well if you need some more hands-on experience, if you will, with clients. So if you've gotten results for yourself or someone but you haven't really worked with clients before, this is a really good first step to working with clients and building this up into something. So I do suggest for most people to get started in that sort of format. That doesn't mean you have to be referral based or you shouldn't get your systems and your foundation in place. You should absolutely do that because a lot of people don't have the personal network that would bring in paying clients. They'd have to do it pro bono or super cheap or just, and people put how much they've invested into something is how much they're going to keep investing into it, right? They're going to pay attention to it. The more they pay, the more they're going to actually follow through with doing things. So you do want, obviously, paying clients for many reasons, but absolutely that is one of them. So working, you're still going to want to set up the basic foundations of your business, a lead gen funnel, a book a call funnel, like a VSL, like some basic things to actually generate leads, nurture, qualify them, move them through to sales call, close them on a call. That's the process for everything basically high ticket. There's a lot of variation and details in the weeds there. However, that's a really great high ticket version for this. So that's your sales pipeline, if you will. You're going to have, you want the sales pipeline set up, even if you're just taking on one-on-one clients, because it allows you to stop. Sorry, someone honked their horn for some random reason outside, which obviously doesn't make my puppy happy. Anyway, so by getting that sales system set up, it'll allow you to continue to build relationships, to nurture people who have found you or connected with you somewhere. It helps them to draw closer to you and gets them to where they actually are ready to make a purchasing decision. Otherwise, people fall in this trap of having all of these folks that are they're being introduced to, or they're seeing them on their podcast or on somebody else's podcast, but they're not going anywhere. They don't have a specific system or process to move that person into a sale. So you don't want to fall into that trap if you want to regularly be bringing in clients. If your goal is to get to a 6 or 7 figure business, this is where it starts, getting that foundation laid from the beginning. Okay. So absolutely do that, because you want to maybe get your first client. That's your first milestone. But then you want to get to the point where you're regularly bringing in new clients that are not just word of mouth or warm network, but new clients who are finding you online, right? So before we take it to the next level from there, let's talk about how do you actually get your face in front of people? Because that comes down to traffic, getting people's attention online. So getting on other people's podcasts. A lot of our audience listens to our podcast a lot. We've had a lot of folks on various podcasts as guests. It's a great way to get in front of other people's audiences, get exposure, invite them to check out your lead magnet, right? And start building your own audience in your email list and maybe in a Facebook group or something like that. So that's a great option. Now, for I love paid ads, even if you're just beginning. Like, so if I had to start over from scratch and I had to really just start bringing in clients, if I didn't have any of my email list, I didn't have any of my social media assets, anything like that, I would start with some ads. Not spending a ton because I'm just getting started, but slowly, a little bit, because any amount that I'm spending on ads, like those are people that I wouldn't be reaching otherwise. Right? Those are people that wouldn't have heard of me otherwise because I didn't have ads running. There's been people who have become the dearest friends of mine, there's been people whose lives have drastically changed because we had ads running. And if we didn't have ads running, their lives would look incredibly different today, years later. And so continuing to put yourself out there. So Facebook ads is one way to do this. If that sounds overwhelming, don't let it be, but know that you should get help with this, because there's a steep learning curve, right? That's something that we can help you with. You can type info in the chat. We'll see how we can help you with it. But Facebook ads is a great thing. Being in summits, hosting your own summit. Our friend and client, Adrian Hill, teaches that, how to actually host your own summit. It's a huge deal. I've never done it because it's too much work, but for what I can handle with our sales team and everything we got going on already. But if you're just getting started and you have the time to put into it, that can be a really good opportunity or a way to generate leads to get in front of new people. You can content, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. There's a lot of different platforms where you can put content out there, get people's attention, and move them into the sales pipeline that we just talked about, right? Getting them to opt in, get the lead, they put their name and email to get a freebie, right? And then they're moved through in your system and process into knowing you more, liking you more, consuming more of your content, being qualified and moving them into a sales call situation. So that's sort of the general vibe, the general flow. Thank you very much. Let me know who you are. We're getting some reactions and stuff, guys, and everyone's quiet, or StreamYard's acting funny, which might be the case where they're not actually putting the comments through over the system. So put in a bunch of comments, and then I'll be lovely surprised when I actually jump into the individual platforms later tonight, and I'll respond to every single one of them. But that's sort of like phase one of this, right? Is the getting that foundation that laid, your sales pipeline, figuring out your main traffic sources, and getting that one-on-one offer together, right? Where you're offering those one-on-one coaching to clients in a slightly more informal method. Now, where do you take it from there? Because that's great. And there's been people, I know of people who are running, 6-figure businesses off of that. Can you go to 7 doing that? That's pretty hard. You have to be charging a lot of money, and that traffic is hard to find, to get in front of very elite crowds, if you will, where they can drop, $50,000, $100,000 on a coach for the year, that sort of thing, right? So, what you typically see is folks get kind of burned out on one-on-one, right? So one-on-one is a really good place to get started. It's not somewhere that I would stay long-term. Instead, I would be building my skills as a coach, right? Having those interactions with my clients, helping them to get great wins. And then I would be taking that feedback and really systematizing how I'm helping people, creating a really good formula and structure that I take people through. Oh, thank you, Angela. Good to see you. So really walking through all of that. Okay. And so taking those one-on-one experiences. Apparently we're getting a package. I don't know. So taking those one-on-one experiences and then moving them over into now offering a group program, right? Sorry. Oh, they keep going. Okay. So moving into a group program. So with a group program, this is typically very structured. So you've got, a very specific transition or transformation that you're helping people to make. And it's very laid out exactly what the steps are that they need to get through. I like the format like we have, where there is a ton of resources in video format, in course format, and handouts and templates and different things like that. That's what people get to go through on their own. And then in the group coaching setting, they're then getting help with actually implementing it, like reviewing what they're doing, going through what their next steps are, making sure they're staying on task, they're getting their stuff done, they're doing all the different things that actually come down to implementing what they're learning. So the learning in a group program doesn't have to be you showing up on a Zoom and teaching the same thing over and over and over again. Put that in a course, give them access as part of their coaching program. And then in the coaching program, in the coaching sessions, that's where it gets really good. That's where you take the material that they've learned, and then we help them adjust and shape and tweak it and make it fit for their actual situation. So if I was starting from scratch, I would really probably start with like a 3-month coaching program, 6 weeks to 3 months for a group coaching. Something smaller, something that I could, kind of turn around, it's big enough. It can have a nice price point, $2,000, $2,500, something like that, depending on what you're doing. But it's not a huge commitment. You don't want to have a huge commitment when you're just getting started offering something. You want to start it smaller, make sure you like it, they like it, and then be able to open it up to make it a 6-month or a year long or something bigger, right? So moving into the group program will allow you to keep selling. You're not trading your time for money. It's much, much more leveraged. So that's like the second phase of this, right? Is moving into that group program and offering that. It can be at a nice price. Smaller group programs might be, depending on the niche. I've seen some at like $1,000, which is really low, all the way up to tens of thousands of dollars. depending on how they're structured, what the transformation is they provide, and how long they are, all of that good stuff. So that's sort of like a phase 2 to this. Now you should absolutely get to 6 figures with a group program. Like, you can have one offer at all, and it's a it's a $3,000 45-day or whatever, right? Like, one offer can absolutely get you to 6 figures for sure. Okay. Once you're in the mid to upper 6 figures, that may be time to actually start adjusting what you're doing again. Now, this is where you can start bringing on more, building up your sales team, right? So, I mean, you should be able to do, 20,000 a month probably on your own without this. As you build from there, though, it gets much easier if you bring on a setter, someone who helps to qualify your sales calls before you take sales calls. If you bring on, you should definitely have a VA by this point. You might do VA much earlier in the process to take on more administrative tasks. So really working with starting to build up the team now. The higher into the 6 figures you go, the more that's important. But like, by the time you get to 7, you might be looking at some additional offers. Maybe you start working on what we call an SLO, or a self-liquidating offer, where you could potentially run paid ads to it. And when people opt in, they purchase some low ticket thing that the goal is to have it self-liquidating, meaning that the ad pays for itself with the people who are purchasing it. Now, that's much easier said than done. That is a very steep learning curve. That is not something I would ever have a newbie do, because it is not a simple thing. So instead, that's something like once you get to the higher level, and now you're looking at really maximizing your ad spend. So you want to make sure you can, you're maximizing your ROI. So this is a really good way to get buyer leads, people who are really interested and willing to pay for the types of stuff that you offer. So that's when you get into SLOs. Maybe you're adding a back-end membership. So is after they complete this 3-month, the 6-month type program, now on the back end, you've got like this ongoing membership where they can stay part of the community. They can get some new resources every single month, something like that. So that's a really good way to build residuals, build something up. So it's not just a bunch of the high ticket sales and the pressure every month to keep filling that hole that perpetually ends up emptying, right? So adding something residual on the back end can be wonderful for this. So then, SLO, membership, really expanding your content, becoming, omnipresent, if you will, on social media, having team members that can help you with that. If you've got to do all of that yourself, you're going to go bonkers. Like, it's just going to be too much. So once you get to this level, though, you can really have people helping you to get all your content out there, and push this in front of the right crowds, right? So I hope this is helpful for you. Beyond the low ticket membership, beyond the SLO and the core group coaching program, the other thing that a lot of 7-figure businesses are offering, which I do suggest and can work really well, is high ticket masterminds, true masterminds, not coaching, but masterminds. And those can be amazing opportunities to really connect with some awesome people, and to take you to the next level. So this shouldn't be for the newbies. This should be people who've graduated your program. They've got their foundation laid, and now they're ready to take it to the next level. We actually just recently released one of our Digital Trailblazer podcast episodes on masterminds. We had a guest. I'm slipping on her name at the moment, but if you just go back, she was like just a few episodes ago. So if you're curious about that, you can go listen to that. But, that might be, $10, $15, $20, $25,000 for the year. So it doesn't take too many of those types of things added on to what you're already doing to make a massive increase in revenue. So you can layer things on, but don't take on too much. A big problem that I see with folks at the beginning of their journey is they're just getting started and they want to do their SLO and their low ticket membership and all of this stuff. and they're not making much money at all. Like they've only had a couple clients and you're like, no, 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 no. Like, let's get your money coming in. Like, let's get a good, solid signature program that can produce that you can sell regularly and routinely and count on. And now build that up. Lean into that full bore until you have the revenue generated to start building up your team and now taking on some of those more challenging tasks like doing an SLO and some other things. So I hope this puts it in perspective because I see a lot of people diving into the deep end of the pool before they're ready for it. So please take your time, start from the beginning, work your way up with variations on how this applies to you and what you're doing. Obviously, that's where you work with a coach. If you are sick and tired of guessing what your next step is or what works best or what will be best for you specifically, I got you. That's what we do. Just comment info, we'll chat, and we'll see how we can help you out with this. And like I said, we do have our 7 days to high ticket coaching clients Trello board. It is super detailed. You will love this. Go ahead, type in Trello in the comments. We will reply back. Matt will be all over that tomorrow, and he will get you all access to that. So I'll be back next Monday night, same time, every Monday within the group. If you have specific requests for the next topic, make sure to drop that and I will cover that for you. Have a blessed rest of your week. I will see you again next Monday night. Take care. Bye-bye.